Yo, what's good, you guys? So today we're gonna be going over a new tier list I made and actually was forced into by this weird individual. His name is Javier El Alonso, or whatever the second name is. He's been yapping, okay? He's been yapping in my DMs all the time. Yo, redo this tier list, it's wrong. And I'm like, I'm not gonna redo the tier list. Why the f would I redo something? I'm speaking. Just give me a second. Why would I redo something that I already did? But we came up with a better idea, and the idea is we're gonna be introducing a tier list of the best sources to the worst sources, the most dogshit sources when it comes to cognitive types such as MBTI, Jungian types, Socionics, anything. So those are all the sources, and you can see friendly faces. Some of those faces you might think, holy f, why would you even put them there? That's a crime. You are right. It is a crime. And here we're gonna judge them.
So formal. Perfect, okay.
Who would belong in the GOAT category in your opinion?
Well, of course, Jung, he cannot be anywhere where. He was, everyone in this title list only exists, their theory only exists because of Jung, so he needs to be first, no discussion.
He's the originator, right? That everyone on this list even exists, has their face here, because Jung created the essence of the personality, the theory behind the personality. But is that, people might say, is that even a good argument? Because, okay, yeah, he created that shit. Does that mean his sources are so good? So what you think of that?
I think it's a valid argument, because we shouldn't like, oh my god, just because
Yes.
he is the first one doesn't mean he is automatically the good one. But if you actually read his books, you see how much the importance he has for psychology in general, and the books are very good. The explanation of the psychological types, every single author and source here has originated from him somehow and has his descriptions inspired. So
True.
it's very important. There is no argument for me that he shouldn't be the first one.
Long time ago, very skeptical of Jung. I was like, who the fuck gives a shit about Jung? No one really cares about Jung. No one even, who the fuck reads Jung? Only detached from reality people read Jung. But the funny thing is, while Jung, it seems not very systematic, it's not as such a developed system, cognitive system, I do believe it's way easier to actually type people. It's way easier to actually maybe categorize people within that system than sometimes even socionics and other stuff. So I would also say the big dick needs to go on the top, right? The GOAT, Jungian typology. Now, is there any other GOAT in your opinion? Or is that the single GOAT? Because I know you're going to be probably hitting me with the socionics. So tell me.
Oh, of course. Yeah, of course, I think Aushra should be also the GOAT. Because we are not only basing ourselves on Jungian, but also Socionics in this list, and also MBTI, which I consider just like a cheaper version of Socionics. So I think she should be on top. I have read all of those authors there in this list. I have read all of their works, and I don't think there is a single author that used Jungian's work and developed them in such a good way like she did. I don't think no one has got even close to her work, but to be honest.
So what about people who say she actually changed and misrepresented some aspects of Jungian? Because we know that Jungian types, they ain't the same. Some of the approach to the introversion and extroversion is a bit fucking different. The way they define shit is some fucking differences. Are you okay with those differences? Or do you believe, no, do you think she changed some shit? Or do you believe, no, that's not true at all? What I mean, what's in your head?
Well, that goes to the discussion of Jungianism. So it's a long discussion, but to keep it simple, I think she didn't have the intention to change his work, only to improve it and give it more content, to make it more realistic. Because I'm going to criticize Jung. If you read his test, is way too idealistic. It doesn't seem human.
But that's what I'm saying. You see that shit? That's what I was saying with Jungian.
Yeah.
To me, it's very detached from reality. Like, so I understand it's not as practical. The way I view Aushra is like, yes, there are some changes, but I think she was going her own way in a sense, but still basing it on Jungian typology and his theory. So, I mean, obviously, listen, I use Socionics personally, right? And I obviously go by Aushra. How can I not put Aushra as the GOAT? Okay, so first of all, who the is this? Maybe Joseph. What you think about Josephine? Should Joseph be? C.S. Joseph? And the base, obviously, listen, man, Joseph did amazing work when it comes for the community. I mean, fuck, right?
Mary from France should be in the base. Is the first woman there?
Yeah,
right there?
I know. Okay, okay. I didn't read her shit. Why is she so good, bro? Tell me, convince me why I should read her shit. If I have Jungian, why would I read her?
Because if you read psychological types, it's a very incomplete book. She does a phenomenal job. Continue his work. Phenomenal. She talks about the auxiliary functions. She talks about the inferior functions in a very good way, and the relationship with the dominant function and how the dominant function will repress the inferior,
Okay.
and vice versa.
she
So
elaborates.
it's essential. If you know if you like Jungian typology, you need to read her shit as well.
Okay.
Not only psychological types.
Is she like, if I read it, is it too geeked out? Is it concrete? Is it tangible enough for people to read it and be like, you know what, I can understand the concept and apply it to the
Yeah,
to the world?
I think she has a more grounded approach to the description than Jung does. Yeah, I think she's a very very good author.
Okay, let's keep her.
I would say, yeah, this guy Igor. I think he should be there because
This
he
guy?
is basically, yeah, exactly, Igor Weisband. I don't know how to pronounce
Weisband,
it.
right? So that's the Socionics
Weisband,
motherfucker.
Yeah, basically the co-worker of Aushra.
And
He
yeah.
was included in a lot of her works. If you the famous descriptions of the types, like if
Yes,
you go to
yes, I read his descriptions. Very good. Very good descriptions.
they wrote them together. So I think he is quite essential. I don't recall reading like a uh, exhalated work of him, like something separated. But most of his work were with Aushra. But I still think he's a good one because
Okay.
he produced a lot of stuff in Socionics as well.
Okay. Notice the pattern, black and white. The
Yes,
famous Reining dichotomies. Man, listen.
Yes, static, dynamic, everything that
So-
people like to yap about Socionics. To be honest, I think we should create another line for this.
Does Reining belong? I would say right mid, not meh. This is too much. I think as we know, I even made a video on Reining dichotomies, the static and dynamic. I feel like his work on the dichotomies is good, but there's a counter argumentation that people pick and choose which dichotomies are worth listening to, so it's bias. But either way, what's your just opinion on Reining? Why is he mid? Why is he not based?
Well, because I like his dichotomies. I think they're very important. I think they made Socionics more simple, if I'm being honest. So why not based? But then we have his isolated work and his descriptions of the functions and the types, and I don't think they're very good. If you read them, people don't even use them. I remember when I first tried to use them.
Yes.
And he had very weird descriptions. But then when he worked to Aushra in the dichotomies, I think that he made an
okay. So basically, the dichotomies was his good work, but he had some kind of shit in between there. So that's
yeah.
that's
And
why. Okay.
to be honest, I think it's fair for the community to nitpick with dichotomies
Yes.
we want to use or not. Like we are not obligated to use all of them.
Right.
We are not.
Right. So, okay, right. But why would we use, for example, the static and dynamic? Do you just believe it's such a important factor because of the mental and the vital ring? Is that why those two dichotomies should be used? Why those dichotomies and not some other fucking random shit, the 12 other fucking, or how many fucking dichotomies this prick has?
Yeah, because if we think about like Jungian, for example, we have the dichotomies there. We have intuition versus sensoric. We have rational and irrational. We have extroverted and introverted. So and Socionics, of course, they still use those dichotomies, even though they change a little bit. But I would say the basis, the pillars of Socionics dichotomies would be static and dynamic. Because that not only will determine how your behavior usually will be, like for example, if you're more impulsive or you tend to react physically to things, so that that
It
is a
can be very
sign you have.
observable. Like you have to be a dumb like there are some you have to be brainless sometimes with certain types to look at them and be like, oh, that's a static type or that's a dynamic. Like you have to genuinely the brain left the chat is what has to happen. Again, black and white, right? If I'm using this black and white logic, is this guy gonna be here? Let's say yes or no.
I wasn't going for aesthetics, but sure. This one is Johannes van der Hoop.
And this is okay, bro.
Also,
I've heard many things about him. Creating the Jungian work, elaborating on the Jungian work. He has those types, right? Explained and shit, all of that. That's the one of the main sources we use for Jungian. Why is this guy not with base, bro? Like, why don't we put him with the other chick? This chick, France. Why don't we put it with the France chick?
but because I don't think because Mary van France, she actually continued Jungian's work, and Van der Hoop, what he did, he tried to give like a more modern approach to the cognitive functions. You know, it's more simplified. It's very well explained, but it isn't like something new or something very creative. He did a very good job with Jungian, but it's not like he added something new. But I really do recommend his book if you want to read more on Jung. And he actually introduced to what we know about MBTI. Some MBTI authors
By the
inspired
way,
on his approach.
I think for the people, I think maybe we should link down below maybe some of the sources of those people. You know, like so it can be maybe useful for people to read about that shit.
Yes.
Yeah?
I was going to wait for the ending of the video, but since you mentioned it now, I'm creating a folder to the Rust typology drive only for Jungian sources, so people can read all of these authors we are mentioning here,
guys. You're gonna
even the ones we don't consider good.
Yeah, everything. We're not here to say don't read the good. You can read, fuck it, man. You can read fan fiction. You can read erotica. I don't give a what you read. It's okay. It's all of you. You have access to all the information, and I think having the access to this information at the end of the day is what you really need.
Yeah, the Myers-Briggs sisters. Yeah, definitely bad.
Either meh or not good. That's what I think.
No, I would say meh, because they still created. The problem with MBTI is, I would say a high number, like 80% didn't read her book actually. Because
and that's a good point, because
they have a book. It's Gifts Differing, the name of the book.
Gifts Differing book, which people don't. Okay, so the issue with MBTI is that we all learned MBTI through stereotypes and through blogs. So the truth is the MBTI community doesn't really even know MBTI because they're not learning from the source.
Yeah, they know the website.
Yeah.
16 personality
and
types, yeah.
As far as I know, Gifts Differing, because I did read it a bit, it was a lot of it, but it did seem like it was more focused, not even on all of the like cognitive functions. There was no such like focus. It was more like extroverted, intuitive, EST, EN. It was very simplified. It was dichotomal, like with dichotomies.
Yeah, that was the moment. I would say it was the moment in typology where things started to become like a weird stereotype. And the book is not bad, but like I said, MBTI, in my opinion, is just like a cheap and weaker version of Socionics.
They be looking like, I'll be honest with you, they look like straight out from a horror movie. Why don't we put Gulenko in meh? Although I would probably put Strat. I would put Strat before I would put Gulenko maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Because with the thing with Gulenko is, yeah, he did a lot of things, but that doesn't mean they are good. I can write a lot of shit, doesn't mean it's a good shit, you know? Yeah. Like, quantity doesn't mean quality.
But and I feel like, shouldn't this be like here maybe? Like more like Strat and then?
Yeah.
So
Vera has her flaws in her descriptions. I think something she goes, she loses.
She loses the
lost
plot.
Her way a little bit.
Yeah,
some like LSI descriptions are very weird. She's describing something else, but her descriptions are still useful. I still think she tries to be respectful to the original system. I don't think she deviates from them, but I wouldn't recommend her as first glance for Socionic source, you know.
So this is classical.
Yeah, School of Classic Socionics. Yeah.
So maybe I would do it like this.
Fair. Yeah, I think they're a very decent school. I mean, if it wasn't for them, a lot of Aushra work, we wouldn't have access to it.
It's true.
So
Like
they
when it
give a
comes to
very important
information,
contribution.
I want to say, listen, I'm obviously this anti-organizational bullshit. You know, it's this propaganda. I don't like it, so I'm anti that. But I do appreciate the sources that obviously this school has developed, and it helps people. But this doesn't go as high because at the end people sometimes confuse this important information. Oh, CSS is like classical, it's like Aushra. No. There's a reason why the goat is on top and this is here. Is because fucking Aushra is Aushra. You learn from Aushra. But a lot of the classical socionic school, there's a lot of their own shit and their own decisions when it is to
Yeah,
making
they created
things.
two very important adapts like
Yep.
the dimensional theory and the charges. I prefer the dimensional theory over the charges, but I still
That's
think
because
that
the charges
overall,
often you cannot really type with the charges. Like it's from my
yeah.
perspective, it's a risky game. It's a very risky game.
Yeah, and to be honest, if you understand the blockings, like the elements
I
blocked
know,
together,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I think it's on the fifth page of Reining dichotomies. If you understand that, you actually don't need chargers.
This
This is SSS, School of System
system
Socionics. I
system.
think it should be even before SCS. Their website is Classic Socionics, so they have a lot of information on classics, and the reasoning
Wait, so
I
this
think
is the
that you can
classic Socionics
observe.
website.
Yeah,
Okay, and
classic.
that's where we got the all the explained like elements, the dichotomies, all of that shit. Not the dichotomies, but
Yes,
the elements.
yes,
Okay, I
and the
use that website all the time to
characteristics
learn.
are
Okay, so
yeah.
why are we putting this shit a good source where we learn socionics? Why are we putting this in meh and not at least in based, for example? Like why? What the what's the logic?
Because I actually for putting something above ma, I think they need to create something that we actually use on a daily basis. Like if you compare to Reining, his dichotomies, we use his dichotomies a lot. And the only thing, I actually think it's very good. This school of system socionics, they have like the best socionics test I have ever seen. It's really well done, and I don't like tests. I don't like
So
questionnaires. I don't think
should
they're
we put
useful.
them in mid?
No, I don't. I still don't think
No.
any school should be in mid. Yeah, I don't think it should be.
Okay, I
But
mean
if you
fuck
think
it.
so, you can convince me.
I just because this guy, right? You said this guy, this motherfucker didn't make anything new. He simply took what was done and he made it more practical. He made it more modern. But if he ain't creating shit, like I just feel like the sources, right? Like such a source that's so good and so important to learn. I just feel like it should be high when it comes to the sources. That's how I think.
Yeah, but most of the content in those websites are things that were written by
By
Aushra.
Aushra,
So
so you just view it as
Van,
okay, a
yeah, Van de
platform
Hoop
that's just
actually wrote
taken.
books. He actually
Okay.
wrote books. Van de Hoop actually wrote books about Jungian
I
typology. So he
understand.
did
So it's just a
produce.
collection of quotes from the information of Aushra, and that's it. That's why. Okay, I understand it. Like this, you're right. Okay.
Yeah,
Gulenko. I would say Gulenko. Although
yes,
this is such a
Model G.
controversial take, bro. Gulenko could either be here or here.
No, I don't. I don't think he is better than the creators of MBTI. If I'm being honest, because
So Gulenko is
you know,
more shitty. His stuff is more
yeah,
shitty than why? Obviously, creating billion subtypes, and I lied is actually like an SLE because he's a creative subtype. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. But why are you so critical towards Gulenko to the point of putting him in not good?
yeah. It's because I think Model G is. We have MBTI, which is like a cheap, weaker version of Socionics, and then we have Model G, which is just trash Socionics. I don't really like his approach to the system, and he even made some stuff on the charges. And if you go read them, he managed to do it worse than SCS, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
isn't it completely opposite? Aren't his charges completely opposite? Like SC.
Yeah,
Yeah, right?
I don't understand what's the point of using the system and making the opposite of everything. Like he did opposed to the descriptions
So I
of
think
the
what's
classical
happening,
course he created his own model. Yeah.
it's the intellectual narcissism, which I don't like it. It's very common. It plagues the typology community. I think it plagues any kind of scientific, the science communities, anything with where people are geeked out. It is plagued by narcissism, intellectual narcissism, and I think that's what might have happened
Yeah,
to Mr. Mustagilenko.
yeah, and
Look at him;
Model
he's pimped the
T,
fuck
Model
out.
T
He
is.
looks like a Russian mob boss.
So which
Uh,
one you wanna? Okay.
WSS, World Socionics Society. Do you think it should be here before Micah Pierce?
Yeah, I'm very biased towards Micropius, but sure, let's go with Western
Okay,
Socionics.
so I'll start my take on this. Why would we put World Socionics so low? Obviously, originators, the OGs, black and white. It's getting kind of worse now with the world of my own argumentation. The way I view it is Socionics. The way we use Socionics. This is Aushra. This is Aushra's original fucking writings. Aushra created this system. Now we have a system that was created, right, by Jack. He came in, he thought, okay, this is how I want things to be. He changed shit. Now, this is a reality. The system is not the same. It doesn't matter how many people will tell you it is. All you have to do is to look at the writing and you will see complete contradictions. People will tell you then,
yes.
Well, it's okay if it's contradictory because I believe it's good. How do you believe it's good? What does that mean you believe it's good? It's subjective, right? So,
yes.
To me, that's kind of the main problem. It's contradicting the source. And not only that, from my personal experience, as I have been using this system, I have been around everyone who used the system. You used the system, everyone did. It leads to massive stereotypes. And I'm not talking about Jack specifically, because I feel like people are using WSS not necessarily in the same way Jack uses it. So that's a very huge distinction. But the umbrella of WSS as the school that everyone's using, it's high fucking focus on stereotypes. Like, and a complete difference in how types are perceived compared to Aushra. The SLE is a complete different type in Aushra than it would be in the type in WSS. Also, the heavy reliance on quadro values leads to mistypes. Another problem, and again it's less to do with Jack's application, more to do with how people use that system. How many of us have been typed by people who are practitioners of this system, and it's the most ridiculous things because you're beta quadra, because you're dramatic, because you're confrontational, right? Whatever the fuck, right? So that's a problem.
Mystical, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And another thing is, listen, to me, the way the system is structured, it's not as scientific to me. It's not as precise. It's not as proper. No one gives a fuck about the role. No one gives a fuck about the super ego. I've never heard WSS people talk about super ego.
Yeah, they don't use their own system. That's the thing. They just they have in their head the ideas of the stereotypes of the. I think I only see them mentioning like the base and the polar function. I don't see them talking about mobilizing or ignoring role. It's like, and making some functions more important than others is wrong. And
yes.
And not only those stereotype things, but then we have the extreme contradictions. But people could argument like, it doesn't. Why just because it's different from the author doesn't mean it's bad? That's not the problem. But the problem is when we have a weak block like the superego, and then we have the polar, which is described as a point of least resistance, something that is supposed to be your vulnerable spot, something you don't want to talk about.
Painfully aware of its existence, which, by the way, funnily enough, is conscious. You are aware of it.
Yeah, exactly.
You care about it very deeply.
And in Western Socionics, the polar is treated like something so extreme, and how they describe a bipolar, like not giving a fuck about morals and not respecting people's morals, and being typing characters that are clearly a phi creative as a bipolar because they're just bad. So it gets to the serious. Okay, logical types are evil. They won't care about morals and they won't care about your shit. and it's contradictory to the idea of the superego. That superego is supposed to follow norms, and they don't. They actually don't have a system. That's the
So,
thing. They
and
don't
the
have a
funny
system. They
thing
don't have
is, it
something
is
they
the
follow.
SCE that is morally flexible, how he treats relationships, however he wants. It is the SLE that is dictated by,
Yes.
by normative ethical standards, which people don't know. But it is a very rigid ethically type.
I used Western Socionics for a long time. We all did, and I
Oh
was
yeah.
even like in the fucking Facebook group.
Yes.
I
Yes.
I was heavy in it, and then I started seeing the contradictions, and I just moved. A lot of people are moving away from the system.
More and
So
more people are moving away, and I believe classical socionics is gonna take over. It's simply a matter of time. I do know this. I do
yeah,
know this. But again, we're not here to tell you. You can use this. Listen, I have my own type. You can be different types. Whatever, you have your own type in WSS. You have your own type in this system. It doesn't matter. It's not a problem. This is common. But use whatever the you want to use at the end of the day. Simple as. But that's our opinion. Those are the issues we see with this system compared with the Aushra original writing. I'm guessing you're gonna go with Micah Pierce. Now you say you were biased towards Micah Pierce. What the did that mean?
because I would say I'm biased because for in my personal opinion, if I need to give it, everything that starts with Neo is trash. If it has fucking Neo Young, Neo social, it's trash. That's my first judgment to this fucking word.
Okay.
And I have read his book, which is supposed to be Neo-Young, but it's just like a mix between Socionics and MBTI. Like he created like the shadow function
He
and
was
all those
very
things.
geeked out. I do know
It's
he was
yeah,
floating.
it's
He was floating.
yeah, it was very very geeked out, and it's just bad. It's contradictory. It doesn't add anything. You can just use Young or Socionics. It's way better. It has better descriptions. I don't like. They created the whole like the weird relationship with the dominant function and the tertiary. What was the name of it? Everyone used it back then. Like I am not a filler. I'm just using my third function a lot,
I
and
know.
it
Yeah, it
all
was
became from
crazy.
the
It's
fucking
crazy. Yeah, I know. It's
yeah.
crazy.
It's
The mental
insane.
justifications. It's crazy. So let's maybe
Yeah,
leave it
he
here.
actually created the cope. Yeah, he created the fucking cope in typology.
Okay, so D for dog shit. I would say in terms of all of this, PDB goes here.
Yes, you
Because
can have good sources and bad sources.
in PDB has better sources than Reddit. Like in PDB, if you go deep enough, you will have very very good sources. In Reddit, you can fucking dig. You can dig with a VPN. You can go on dark web and on Reddit, and you will never find shit. And there's nothing good. There's only maybe like some random particular users who are knowledgeable. But as a collective, it is dog shit.
Yeah, you will find like, oh, my experience as a fucking ENTJ,
Yeah,
and it's
pure
just biased
stereotype.
and weird
This
shit.
place has zero idea about Enneagram 8, zero idea about Enneagram 6, which, by the way, they keep mistyping those both. Because
Yeah, I even
they have no
remember
idea.
reading on Reddit the first thing like attributing IQ to the types. It was insane.
Yeah, that's
Please don't
crazy
use
work.
Reddit, guys.
I would put C as the Joseph, aka the Josephine.
Nah,
So,
don't get me started with this one.
so listen, the point with C.S. Joseph is many people make videos about him and shit like that. But my idea is that this is some, as far as I know, a cultist or something, right? What is he doing? He's making his own system out of his own ass, which doesn't really bring fucking anything.
I don't think he's not even capable to do that. All he does is use like the weakest MBTI sources we can have, and then he makes you pay for making his test, and then he will type.
He's a good businessman.
And then we have
I guess, right? That's the okay. So he's a good businessman.
yeah. If you go to his site, he's selling courses, all those coaching shit now that we have nowadays, and also
Okay.
but what about his videos on MBTI? I don't need to explain much why someone that says how to type your newborn INTJ is bad source. I don't need to explain why that is bad. I
wonder
actually don't
if
think I
he's
need
trolling. I wonder if he's
no,
he's
I
trolling.
had the courage to watch it. He wasn't trolling. He wasn't. I wanted to shoot my head.
This is not ChatGPT. I don't know why. I thought this is ChatGPT. Like, but
Funny.
this is Voltology, aka the brain left
The
the
worst
chat.
shit.
I believe that there's certainly some connection between the personality and physicality of a human person. Like, for sure. Like, our personality can be reflected in our physicality, certain movements, certain gestures. But this is not because
Yes.
my fucking eyebrow moved 10 inches or my smirk moves to the left side when I'm shitting myself. That's not why. It's more general
Exactly.
traits, such as maybe Enneagram 8 being built a different way. Why are they built a certain way physically? Because they might be very physically oriented people. They want to feel strong. So you're going to see a stronger physical build, probably because of this, because of their life experiences. But this is not to say that every 8 core or every SLE, SEE moves their face the same way. It's a ridiculous concept, in my opinion, for people who generally are not very logical people. That's the way I view it.
Yeah, and there's so many problems. I could this fucking I don't even know if I should call this a system. But first problem, it directly leads to eugenics. First point, easily. I have seen how they type black people
Oh my
or
god.
women differently. It's get way worse. And another problem, this system is so shitty that it's like a MBTI version of one of the most shitty pseudoscience in the world, which is the micro expressions. The thing
Wow.
that you were talking about is
Right.
micro. It's called
Micro,
it's a
yeah.
pseudoscience called micro expressions, where they want to guess if you are lying or telling the truth or sharing a hidden
Right.
sentiment
Oh yeah,
with a
right,
micro
right, right.
expression.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Mr.
yeah, and they
Body
have
Language
numbers.
Expert.
I'm gonna send you an image that you can put in the edit. But yeah, and the only thing they did is associate those micro expressions with the functions. Oh, this micro expression that is called, I don't know, MEKA 2 3, it's now an E. That's how votology works. Is the most dog shit. It makes everything in this list looks reasonable.
Let's leave it like this. It's so dog shit it doesn't even have a name. Like the tier doesn't even have a name. It's a non-existent tier. Like
Could be.
this actually is not real. This is a conspiracy. This is fiction. That's how bad it is. We refuse to believe it's real. This is our tier list that we have made, and I know some of you, and I know how this works. Some of you will get very emotional, might get your panties into twisted and all of that. But listen, this is just personal opinion. Give me your ideas of what sources you guys like. What would you personally change in this tier list in your opinion? And overall, just share your thoughts and your opinions about your takes on those authors. Do we forget any authors? Let us know, and where would you put them? That's from me. Javier, do you have anything to add? And then we can wrap up the video.
It's a good promotion for the new drive we're going to make. So everyone that wants MBTI and Jungian sources, I will giving you all. I will make it, and you can check them on the server. Please
Exactly.
don't join our server, guys.
Exactly. Join the server. We have the link in the server. Again, guys, learn. Sometimes we are the way we are. We make shit spicy, but you need this spice to get shit promoted. That's how this works. Anyway, I'm out. We're Chowers, and I'm Bouncins, which is basically I am out. He's Bouncins. Whatever the fuck. Bye bye. Say bye. Fucking Javier. Say bye.
Bye.
More
Okay.
passion.
Bye,
More like
everyone.
life in your voice. Say bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.